Welcome back to InternDesire's web development series. Today is day 6 and we are diving into one of the most fundamental layout concepts in CSS, the box model. By the end of this class, you will clearly understand what is margin and padding do and what they do and how to use them in our web page. What is CSS Box Model? In CSS, every element on a web page is treated as a rectangular box. The CSS box model describes how these boxes are structured and how they interact with each other. Understanding this model is fundamental to control the layout of web designing, and it helps in designing the web page more better. It consists of 4 layers. First is content, which means the actual text, image or button, the actual content what we have. Padding, the space between the content and the border. Border is a visible edge that wraps the content, means in which the content wraps. Margin is the space outside the box and it separates from other elements. Margin helps to separate one element from other elements and it contains the space outside the box. So here's a real world example. Let's take a real world example, and the example is the gift box. To better visualize the CSS box model, let's compare it to something familiar that we have. So we are taking a gift box. This helps clarify how each component contributes to overall size and spacing of web elements. The gift, that is content. The gift inside is the actual content that we have. That's the core of element. It can be any text, image or other media. Bubble wrap, that is padding. The protective layer of bubble wrap around the gift is padding. It creates space inside the element. The element pushing content away from its edges. The box is the border. The cardboard box itself represents the border, a visible line that defines the boundary of the element. Margin is gap between boxes. The empty space between multiple gift boxes on a table is similar as margin. It creates space outside the element, separating it from other elements, or we can say other gift box. Difference between padding and margin. So there is a basic difference that padding pushes the content inward. It increases space inside the border, that is first image, and margin pushes the element outward. It increases space outside the border between this and other elements. Padding affects the element's internal spacing. Margin affects external spacing. This side-by-side layout helps us understand how they interact each other. Let's look at a simple CSS example for a box element. Let's see how margin and padding are applied in CSS. You can see set them uniformly or individually for each side, top, right, bottom and left. So let's copy the code. Move to VS Code here. Copying the style. Here we can create 2 boxes. Div. First is class is equals to box Another type will be class equals another box. Just save it. So here it is showing a box that contains 20 pixels of space between the text and border and 30 pixels of space between this box and other, that is border line, and having a visible black border. So let's write something here. This is the first box. This is the second box. It is showing that this is first box and this is second box. If we can increase the width, then it's possible. So I have increased the width and height of the first box here. Let's check it. Now it is clearly visible. This is first box and this is second box. So second box containing margin from top, that is 10 pixel, margin from right, that is 5 pixel, padding from left 25 pixel. And first box we have margin 20 pixel, padding 15 pixel, border 2 pixel solid black and background color. Width we have 250 pixel and height we have 200 pixel. Text alignment in center, line height 100 pixel and font weight is 4. So this is the code here. So box sizing, border box, it is a basically essential layout. By default, we have padding and border, but the box sizing border box is good to use. By default, an element specified with width and height only apply to its content area. This means padding and border add to the total width or height, which often led to unexpected layouts. Box sizing border box changes this behavior. Border box makes sure the padding and border are included within the total size. So your 200 pixel wide box stays 200 pixel wide, no unexpected overflow will contain. Why it is important? Predictable layout. When you set up width or height, it now includes the padding and border. Easier calculations, no more complex math to ensure elements fit perfectly inside by side. Responsive design makes building flexible, responsive layouts much simpler and more intuitive. So this is the recommendation that always include box sizing border box in global CSS listed for consistent behavior. Common mistakes that we have to avoid. So let's move over 3 common mistakes that beginners make. As we start working with box model, be mindful of these common pitfalls to ensure smooth and predictable layouts. First is forgetting box sizing border box. We mostly forget about box sizing, border box, which the frequent source of frustration, causing elements to overflow or breaking layouts because padding and border aren't included in explicit width or height calculations. Overusing margin padding. Excessive use can lead to spacer dev syndrome and make CSS bloated and hard to manage. Aim for minimal, make it minimal use, and intentional spacing. Using negative margin carelessly. While a powerful, negative margins can lead to overlapping elements and unpredictable behavior if not used precisely and with a clear understanding of their effect. And what is meant? It causes elements to overlap. First is we forget box sizing, which leads to broken layouts, using too much margin or padding without measuring. And third is using negative margin, which causes elements to overlap. Your practice tasks. So now it's your turn. Create a new HTML file and add 3 simple div elements. Style the first div with only margin, that is margin 30 pixel. Second, style the second div with only padding, that is padding 20 pixel. Style the third div with both margin and padding, example margin 15, padding 10 pixel, and also include border 5 pixel solid red and box sizing border box. And observe the differences how they render in the browser. So observe how padding affects inside space and margin affects inside, outside. Comment box fix below when you have done it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more lessons. So, till then, bye bye. Thank you.